My name is Kelly Moore, and my official title is Park Ranger and Park Dive Officer here at Channel Islands National Park. I also serve as one of the park's marine ecologists. There's sort of three main focuses for my job. So first, in my role as a park ranger, I deliver formal and informal education programs to students and other park visitors. And I deliver these programs either in the classroom or from underwater with our distance learning program called Channel Islands Live. And I can talk more about that in a bit. But my role, secondly, as Park Dive Officer, I manage the Channel Islands National Park's dive program. And we have about 30 divers with varying levels of scuba diving experience. And it's sort of my job to make sure that these divers have the knowledge and skills necessary to conduct safe dive operations here at the park, and as well as meet the requirements of all National Park Service divers. And then the last hat I wear is at that of a research diver on the Channel Islands National Park's Kelp Force monitoring program. And this is a long-term monitoring program that has been collecting information on over 70 species of fish, invertebrates, and algae at the Channel Islands for over 35 years now. And this information that we collect, or this data that we collect, is then used by resource managers to sort of determine how best to protect and to preserve the rich diversity of marine life that we have at the Channel Islands.
So what is the best part about your profession?
And for me, I've always loved the outdoors, and especially the ocean. I love animals, and I really care about the environment. And there, at times when I get frustrated with my work, or we all struggle a little bit professionally, but I have those moments when I look up and my eyes just, find the sun setting over the islands, and the winds are calm, and brown pelicans are soaring above me, and sea lions are playing in the ocean. And I think all those moments sort of just fill me up, and those moments are really some of the more rewarding ones.
What is rewarding about your profession?
As a scuba diver, be able to observe firsthand and study underwater. So I get to be underwater and see sort of everything with my own eyes, and then share that experience, that personal experience, with students and with visitors. And students particularly, they are our future ocean stewards. And, as someone who cares so much about the ocean, it's really important to me to instill the same passion and love and stewardship that I feel to this next generation. And when I speak to students or visitors, I really enjoy seeing them engage in that content that I'm presenting, and that just makes me feel that I'm doing something important at my job. There was one time, which is really one of my favorite scuba dives I've done, where I was diving off Santa Barbara Island, which is one of the 5 park islands. And I was probably underwater about 60 feet. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a baby gray whale swim up to me. And it was probably 10 or 15 feet away from me. And I knew it had been at that island for a few weeks. I think it got separated from its mom somehow. And so this calf had just been circling around the island for a bit. So we'd seen it. And it just was this moment of connecting, through seeing each other. And I saw its eye and it saw me. And Of course, I was a little afraid because even a baby gray whale is bigger than a school bus, right?
Yeah.
But it was it was one of those very memorable moments that I will probably never forget. Some of the main focus of my job and my work, and it's what drives me. I think because I do love it so much, and it's such a part of who I am and what I believe in.
Do you have a personal connection to your profession?
I grew up on a tiny island off the coast of Southern California called Santa Catalina Island. It's one of the Channel Islands, and there are 8 in total, but there are just 5 in this national park. So one of the other islands is where I grew up, and as a child, my brother and I spent all our free time in the ocean around our island home, and we dived and we snorkeled and we fished and we water skied, and that, I think, was where my love for the environment, particularly the ocean environment, was born. And I always knew that I felt a deep connection to the ocean, probably because I was just so comfortable being in it, because that's what we did so often as kids, that from an early age I felt that strong desire to want to take care of it and protect it. So I think that might be where my personal connection sort of started and has just evolved, since then. I realized how unique it was and what a tight-knit community we were, and everybody looked out for each other. It was a very outdoor community. I think there are lots of kid experiences, and I'm really grateful for it because it's definitely helped shape me.
Can you tell me about someone who has been the biggest influence in your life?
Robin Ross and Langdon Queaton, who work at UC Santa Barbara. They were probably the biggest influence on me, just because they really, really enjoyed what they did, and that was infectious, and I learned a lot about marine science, but more importantly about how I could turn my passion into a career. And because of them, it really has turned into a career. So I think those two people, in terms of my career, in my life, might be a different story. I had a really wonderful upbringing, 2 wonderfully supportive parents, and they both instilled in me and my brother a great work ethic. And I think in the National Park Service, or in government, state government or federal government, you're serving your position and you're serving your country or your state. And I think that's what my parents also instilled in me, was a sense of service and respect for other people. And I have carried that through, and they were wonderful role models for me too.
So what advice would you give to children who would like to enter a STEM profession?
Oh, I'd say go for it. Please go for it, truly, as the planet needs you.
Yeah. And what advice or information would you give yourself when you were younger?
Tell myself to relax and not stress out so much, and enjoy those years more, because like I told you earlier, I was a very motivated young lady and spent a lot of time studying and working towards my goals, in part because, science and math were hard for me. And so it took a little bit extra time for me to get it than other people. But there is that really important balance that can be achieved between working hard and playing hard. And I didn't have it back then. I guess I've turned out okay, but I think I would have, if I could tell myself anything, just, you'll get it. Don't stress out so much. Relax and enjoy those moments, because they go by so fast.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Everyone always says they want to fly. I think I would like to be able to breathe underwater. I'd like to be able to be like a fish with gills and didn't have to come up to breathe, but I could just stay down there and explore and and never have to come up.